Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We will now move on to our final session, which is our panel discussion titled CPPA in the Asia Pacific. And I would like to first invite our moderator of this panel, the founder of EnergyOMNI, Ms. Xin-En Wu. Please welcome. Please take a seat. And next, I would like to invite our panelists to come up to the stage. Please welcome Managing Director of Development, Taiwan at Northland Power, Ms. Sean McDermott. Director of New Energy Business Services at PwC, Mr. Ethan Tsai. Secretary General of Taiwan Climate Partnership, Dr. Chi-Ming Peng. Associate Director of ERM, Mr. Qing-Wen Huang. Please take a seat. Welcome. And now I turn the floor over to our moderator.
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, to stick with us until this late afternoon, even though that our session is the last one of the two-day summit, but even though that the typhoon outside is approaching us, but I'm still very happy to share the very critical issues is regarding. Hi, Ethan.
Welcome.
Welcome to the stage. Yeah. Well, finally, yes. I think that the topic we're talking about today is very critical because the CPPA and the financial parties is very important issue, and it requires efforts from several parties to join, including industry, including government. And we are honored to invite the 4 very professionals to join us today. So allow me to introduce them for you. The first I would like to introduce is Ethan Tsai. Ethan currently is the director of a new energy business service in PwC. He, with more than 17 years professional experience in both financial and the renewable energy industry. Ethan previously was a senior banker in a top-tier international bank, including BNP, Crédit Agricole, Deutsche Bank, and during the period as head of multinational corporate coverage in BNP Taiwan, he was responsible for the diversified client portfolio consisting of numerous top-tier international offshore wind players. And he was also the CFO at EDF Renewable Energy as a Taiwanese developers, and to lead and manage the financial team for formulating the financial plan, bank plan for build-up, and corporate financial operations. Let's welcome Ethan.
Thank you, Joy. Hi, everyone.
Okay. The next I would like to introduce you is Sean McDermott. And Sean is currently the Managing Director of the Northland Power Taipei, Taiwan. And Sean joined the company in 2016, and he is responsible for leading commercial preparation for both of the Northland Power Round 3 projects. He has more than 13 years of experience in the renewable energy construction and the project finance sectors, providing him with a wealth of expertise in his area. And Sean also holds a degree in international relationship Asia and law environmental. Wow, impressive. And with a further demonstration of his ability to navigating complex legal and international issues. Let's welcome Sean. Okay, the next I would like to introduce you is Dr. Peng Chi-Ming. He currently is Secretary General of the Taiwan Climate Partnership. Dr. Peng obtained a PhD degree in atmosphere science from Central University in 1999 and the first personal meteorological certificate in 2004. And next year, he founded the first private weather company, it's called Weather Risk in Taiwan. In addition to operating the company as a general manager, Dr. Peng is also a college professor, weather presenter, and hosts a Taiwan International Open Data and Disaster Prevention Promoter. In other promotion in climate change, he has been working with the 8 leading tech companies in Taiwan to form the Taiwan Climate Partnership as a Secretary General since 2021. So let's welcome Dr. Peng.
Thank you.
Okay, the next I would like to introduce you is Wang Jingwen. He is currently Associate Director of the ERM Renewable Advisory based in Taiwan, Taipei. He has experience for climate change, sustainable advisory, and shift to offshore wind in 2019. He works on the various topics for renewables and lead the market intelligence and market development service from energy policy, from the analysis, site selection, feasibility study, and stakeholder engagement, permanent consent. He keeps a close eye on the APEC and Taiwan offshore wind markets. He also supported several well-known developers to enter different markets. In addition to the offshore wind project, he engaged in several CPPA projects in Taiwan and European markets for both the generator and the off-taker side. Let's welcome Jingwen.
Thank you.
Okay, we heard that we heard a very good presentation previous, and we know that there are several debating regarding that if we should go the feed tariff or CPPA model. But some say that we might go in too fast before the market mature enough to go CPPA in offshore wind. So back to the very region, I would like to ask Ethan, so what is the drivers for signing CPPA? What is your opinions regarding this?
Thank you, Joy. I think CPPA definitely is the most popular topic, and we discussed that very often in recent years, especially since last year. I think that is related to the local offshore wind farm developer rules for round 3. And when we look at the detail regarding to why everybody is discussing CPPA, I think that will come from the two sides. First of all, it's from the supply side and also from the demand side. For supply side, I think we can see that for offshore wind farm developers, just like what I presented previously, they are going to have more and more gigawatt to be developed by each of you, so that in order to increase your return rate, I think that not just to from your bidding price. Of course, we know that for the bidding price for round 3 is 0 or close to 0, right? So that for developers, they definitely need to seek for other revenue sources. So I think CPPA from the supply side, the renewable energy, of course, especially for offshore wind farm, definitely that price increase, so that the CPPA is also required by those developers to sign. And from demand side, we all know that there will be different drivers for those off-takers. I think the first one is everyone knows that in Taiwan. Taiwan is an IT island, so that for the supply chain pressures from the top vendors such as Apple, such as Google, for those suppliers in Taiwan, they need to follow those big names requirement to fulfill the green energy procurement requirement. And also, I think that will be part of from the local regulation. I think everyone heard that for the Taiwanese government, we released a so-called big, electricity users guidance to require those big electricity users to procure a certain level of the green energy. So that one of the drivers definitely from the regulation. And the drivers should be from their self-commitment to the RE or to the ESG. So that no matter from supply side or from demand side, I think that's a reason why the CPPA is hot topic now. Thank you, Joy.
Thank you, Ethan. You just mentioned that because we know that previously if you said that the drivers from the CPA is from the two sides. I just wondering that because you know that we are not an electricity free market and we don't have the merchant markets currently now. So signing CPPA may require a financial evaluation, may require it's like a credit insurance. So if that's so, if there is not so many companies in Taiwan fulfill that kind of requirements, what do you suggest developers to act?
In terms of
in terms of if we don't have so many companies in Taiwan fulfill that kind of requirements, what is your suggestions?
I think that kind of challenge has been already mentioned, no matter from Benoit, from Jingwen, right? We all know that for the lenders in Taiwan, I think not only in Taiwan but also for other countries, For them, what they are asking is they need to ensure who is the last resort to repay their money, so that it's not avoidable for those lenders to look at the credit side. So we all know that in the market, we all discuss regarding to the largest semiconductor company, right? Everyone knows that. Their credit is acceptable to all lenders. However, we cannot just have them as an off-taker, right? Otherwise, the market will be twisted. So I think everything is under discussion, and there is no conclude currently. I think that is because, for lenders, I think they have the different thoughts regarding to how to increase or how to do the credit enhancement. I think probably like a strong parent guarantee or other relationship bank guarantee. However, because of the timing, because of the schedule, I think the most important is the timing, right? For the supply side, for the offshore wind developers, I think we are still under construction, and we are still waiting to, complete the COD. You want to say something?
Yeah, maybe just to add to what Ethan was saying, and to build on what Thomas and what Raul were saying as well around having some kind of backstop or guarantee that gives lenders some comfort that the off-takers will be able to pay down their revenue over the course of a 20-year commitment. The nature of the round 3 auction is that we all bid zero or close to zero, and that was a function of how that auction was designed. I don't love calling it an auction because it wasn't really an auction. It was designed in such a way that we all bid zero, and then we, based on optional items, fell into rankings, and that was kind of, to me, that was intentional from the beginning. Nonetheless, it is what it is, and so without that feed-in tariff as a backstop, we need some kind of government guarantee behind it. There is, as Ethan mentioned and as Thomas mentioned, there's a small list of companies that are investment grade as against the criteria for international lenders. There's a larger list of Taiwan companies that Taiwan banks are comfortable with. So far, the broader list of state-owned banks have not been able or willing to be involved in project finance. So if you look at the lenders that are participating, they do have these credit requirements. If those credit requirements aren't met by the off-taker, then you need some kind of government intervention or support to compensate for the fact that they designed an auction where we were all pushed to bid zero. And that credit support or backstop could take a few forms. One is just in the way a kind of government guarantee for off-takers, so that let's say you did have an aggregation model where there was some large number of Taiwan companies, either with a low credit rating or no credit rating, which is also very common, who are buying an off-take from one or multiple off-takers. The government provides that aggregator or that group of companies the backstop. They are the company of last resort, and that can be through a government-funded policy instrument, or say credit instrument with a state-owned bank, or alternatively, some way to get Taipower involved. Taipower could be your aggregator. They could have a retail license. They could buy not through the FIT mechanism, but through an aggregator mechanism. Or there's a range of other Taiwan companies who are working as aggregators that are trying to lend their balance sheet for lenders to rely upon. So but ultimately that's going to require, I think, some degree of government support. We're in this position because the auction design removed the government and Taipower support that we relied on in the auction in round 2. Now we have this huge gap that lenders need. As developers, we can't provide that kind of support. So I think it's incumbent on the government to step back into it in some shape or form. Now, they talk about CPPAs and why do they do it. The other big driver for CPPAs for governments is that they're pushing the cost of this new generation directly to industrials. They're really excited by the idea that they paid zero. Taipower will pay zero for the CPPA. But as we've discussed over the last 2 days, Taiwan's competing with multiple other markets, not just in Asia, but in Europe. Nowhere else in the world do you have $0 backstop price. Everywhere else has a retail market. There's always someone you can sell to. It's only here that it's, if your off-taker falls away, you're giving the electricity to your grid operator for free. And that just doesn't work. And so, yeah, I think we will, the government, I believe the government has to step in with some kind of support mechanism for the CPPAs, and there's different ways they can structure it. But that would be in compensation for the fact that the original design is flawed.
Thank you, Sean. So, Xin-En, I can't help but seeing that you keep nodding. So, anything you'd like to add up?
Thank you for Xin-En. Yeah, so that's just more add on. So I have engaged with a lot of the potential off-taker consumer for the past years or 1.5 years, and I always heard one statement recently. They are saying, yes, we need renewable energy. It's just like we need milk, but we don't want to feed the cow by ourselves. And the question now for the renewable energy market is, who is feeding the cow and who is investing to have those cows? And I kind of feel that what they believe is what I want the mechanism is they just go to the pizza market or Carrefour or 7-Eleven and they can have their milk, just follow what Sean is saying. They want retailer, they don't want to face the developer by themselves because they're already heading to so much headache by this mechanism. So what they expect is, okay, they are fine with just somebody to be the retailer. But the main question is, maybe it's Taipower, maybe it's other business, who could be the qualified retailer and who can really get into the market to be like a pizza market or Carrefour or 7-Eleven in terms of renewable selling.
Thank you, Jing. We know that there are numerous projects in Asia, APAC region, especially regarding the renewable energy development. So I would like to ask Sean, as developer, how do you see that CPPA differs in this Asian market?
Thanks for the question. I mean, I guess the first difference across Asia is that generation is different everywhere. As we are aware, in Taiwan, 98% of our energy is imported. And so that creates a particular constraint on how we buy and sell electricity to consumers. And that's in other parts of Asia, there's more indigenous sources of fuel, either through oil or gas or coal. And so that impacts just the nature of the electricity market and electricity pricing. And there's almost no consistency across market for that. The second part, and it relates to the first, is regulation is different, how the CPPA market exists. Korea has a REC multiplier in terms of how it's supporting its renewable energy, and the CPPA market kind of is a function of how the electricity market and the RECs work there. Everywhere is different, and regulation. Regulation across the world is different. So the CPPA market per jurisdiction is going to look different because of all the rules and around the electricity markets generally. That leads to kind of the point where they interact, which is that pricing is different everywhere, and that can get confusing for. As a generator of renewable energy, we like to, if we can, package projects across multiple jurisdictions, but then we offer different pricing. And we offer different pricing across jurisdictions because every market's different in terms of the rules and regulations. And so there's confusion when we try to talk to potential buyers. Why is it so much different in price? And that's particularly true for some of our early conversations with American companies in Taiwan. We're really surprised at how expensive renewable energy is in Taiwan relative to the US. In the US, typically renewable energy is cheaper than your grid electricity. In Taiwan, it's many times higher. Not times, it's much higher. And they assume that we were trying to take more money from them. But it's just a function of that market. So yeah, the difference in CPPAs reflects just the difference in how each of the markets generate electricity, buy electricity, sell electricity, and regulate CPPAs.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, we already know that the CPPA price in Taiwan is relatively higher.
But this is an important point, though. The reason
Yes.
CPPA is relatively higher is that it's relatively higher to electricity in Taiwan because electricity is subsidized, and that's not every other market. I see in the audience we have Angelica Ong from Unredacted, and she did a piece in AmCham last month, 2 months ago, where she pointed out that the price for Thai power to generate electricity is 4.3 NTD a kilowatt hour. But they sell it into the market at between 2.8 to 3.2, 3.3, depending if you're retail or you're industrial. So Thai Power is losing billions of dollars a year. And that's a subsidy for off-takers, for industrial users generally, that we don't get the benefit from. So then we go with our price, where we don't just not get a subsidy, but we have local content on top of it. We have costs added. And there's a feeling that we're overcharging, but we're just not being subsidized.
It's true that given all these circumstances we are facing now, given all these challenges, would that be sending a message or a negative influence in the foreign investment directly in entering Taiwan? Do you think?
I mean, the fact that electricity is subsidized is generally good for most companies coming in. The fact that renewable energy isn't is just a function of the degree to which that industry is relying on renewable energy for their own ESG goals. So it's going to be company to company and industry to industry. Certainly the semiconductor industry, in as much as they're part of a supply chain to consumer good companies led by Apple, but now also Samsung, who have RE100 goals, and they're pushing those goals onto their supply chain. They're screaming for green energy. And they want it sooner, faster, and larger. And they're surprised at how hard it is to bring to market and how expensive it is relative to brown energy in Taiwan and to green energy in other markets. And so we kind of have to walk them through a process for why it costs more here. I wouldn't say it's slowing down FDI per se, but the bigger challenge is just that Taiwan has an electricity crisis. If you look at the FDI that's coming in, again, largely in the semiconductor industry, that's huge electricity use industry. And the targets that Taiwan needs to just stay at a really small buffer means that they have to build more electricity soon. And the design has been for offshore wind is to get us to come in and sell to CPPA off-takers. But as mentioned a few times, we're a little bit behind schedule as an industry. Costs are going up globally, and so there's obstacles to us achieving that. But I'd say the bigger challenge for foreign investors is less green energy and more just energy generally. We need more energy in Taiwan.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, speaking of the RE by goal, because we just announced our net zero goal target, and I know that the most 80%, 70 and 80% of the Taiwan companies are small and medium company, and there's a media and a report said that they are screened for the more new green energy to come. So I would like to Dr. Peng, how can you see that the business respond in demand side for the offshore wind power?
Okay, I should say about 2.5 years ago, and we organized the Taiwan Climate Partnership, leading by TSMC, Acer, ASUS, AUO, and some other company. They are the leading, especially the big emission, net carbon emission in Taiwan. And in the beginning, the criteria is RE100, but only TSMC RE100 and also the 2050 net zero. But in 1 year, the other 6 joined the group. So it's very fast. Why they want to do this? Get the pressure from the international, for example, Apple, and also supply chain about this. And we work very hard. In the first, we push the government to set up the net zero plan. Not talk, not slogan, political slogan. You should do something. So we gave lots of pressure to our president, our prime minister to do something for that. I think it's quite successful. But right now, in the last 6 months, we are trying to buy the offshore wind power. How to do this? Because just in the CPPA, probably only the TSMC, they have the credit assurance only. The others, even they are big enough, No, because the ICT supply chain, they have the fluctuation, especially their product. So there has one cycle. For example, AUO, the displaced company, 2 years, they earn lots of money. Next 5 years, lose lots of money. So the credit rating is very, very low. So they cannot buy, even they are a big emissioner, but they cannot buy the green. In your CPPA rating is a very bad company. So recently, we are trying to build an ecosystem with the government and also the developers. We want to make an ecosystem. And probably the government can play on maybe enhance credit assurance for this company. And maybe one offshoring company, maybe we can, 5 or 3 company, and we can buy 2 developers offshore wind farm together. We want to make this bridge because right now not only 8, we have 100 company, especially they are big enough, not small company. Because the ICT in Taiwan, only the ICT company, they got the most pressure from the international renewable energy pressure. So I think if it happened, because we prepare that for several months, it's not easy. And we should talk to government and also the developer, and if we agree the deal and how to sign the contract is 20 years, the CPPA, and also the last one is the price. The price, how much is the price? So it's very complicated. So probably, I think we can success. So I know, just I hear lots of the previous speaker say something about not the very, maybe it's a fog future about offshore wind farm, but I think if such is kind of case will be successful, I think you will be more safe in this area. So we are trying to do that, but it's not easy. We work very hard. And another issue is, I think, is because in Taiwan, our electric and the carbon certification are combined together. So I think in the future, it should be separated. Because in our Taiwan Climate Partnership, we are also want to buy the carbon credit. And we try to set up one account in other country to buy the carbon credit. And I say, where the carbon credit come from? It's from the offshore wind farm. Oh, it's not only the power, but also the carbon credit. But Taiwan, no. So we are thinking probably in the future, separate 2 systems is better for the developer and also the buyer. So I think maybe in the future, we should talk something about that, to separate and to make a better ecosystem in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Peng.
Is it good?
Yeah,
it's
it's
good for
very
you.
good.
But it's not easy because this company, some company, we are trying to match in because some company is a manufacturer company, some company is office company. For example, Acer, Asus, they are the only office in Taiwan. So they also claim they will be net zero. How to combine together to probably we will buy 2 offshore wind farm, and because it will be more stable for the risk transfer. So it's not easy, but we are trying to match in the need. For example, this wind farm is AUO and Pekatron. This offshore wind farm is some company. So we are trying to do this. I don't know, is there any good example in the world like this? I don't know, but we are trying to do this in Taiwan.
Thank you, Dr. Peng. But given all the information you have, you see that it requires a policy regulation to alter, to change. So, given fund, everything that you have, you see that the bank, how does the bank see that kind of issue?
Right now, in this period, not local bank. It's government-supported bank. Because local bank right now, just I know, for the bank point of view, just I know, because I'm very, very deep, because I'm a meteorologist. I totally work with some offshore wind farm to provide the weather forecasting information and also the bird monitoring and also shutdown by demand service. So I know you very well. And another side, we also, our partner are lots of the bank. The key issue is the quota they invest about the green energy is over. They can they interest, because the government did not have any kind of the benefit for the local banker. Because to invest the green energy offshore wind farm, lots of risk. So the big boss will not think it's not good deal. So in the future, I think the government should do something to benefit the local banker and to give them maybe some discount, maybe some ESG pressure for the offshore wind farm will be needed, especially to 2050, from 2030 to 2050 is a key issue.
Thank you, Dr. Peng. So, yeah, because we are addressing so many challenges right now, and yeah, so I would like to ask Xin-En. So, what do you think that the biggest challenge of a CPPA concerns you most?
You mean in Taiwan?
Yeah, in Taiwan.
I think that's a lot of keynote speaker and also Shaman that Dr. Peng also mentioned. It's just mismatching. I'm not worried about, for what I just mentioned, our engagement with all the potential taker. I'm not worried about there is no demand. It's how the demand to match the supply. And the mechanism between that should develop naturally, because it is a business. If that's a business, all the businessmen will try to make it happen, right? But it's many about regulations and some of the policies stop this. And also Taipower, of course, is a single large utility here in Taiwan. And so what their practice will kind of stop the feasibility of the CPPA here in Taiwan. Otherwise, actually, I don't think that's a really huge problem. As in the main problem is like, okay, the whole regulation need to be reviewed. And we actually are heading to the liberalized electricity market. So the government, we already have like amendment for our Electricity Act in 2017 and 2019, and like it's actually needed another amendment to make it more real liberal, to build out the wholesale market, to build out the retailer market, and to make those supporting mechanism can really happen to have those CPPA, because current framework or current electricity market structure is under Taipower's control, is all under Taipower's rules, and their business as usual. So if you want to encourage more business, then you cannot only allow Taipower to dominate this business as usual for them, and you still expect the CPPA market to going smoothly. Yeah.
Thank you, Xin-En. Okay, right now we are I can say that at the critical point and critical moment regarding the offshore in Taiwan. So, but given the circumstances that we still have time for 3.2 regulation, a bidding structure to announce. So what is the best way or the best approach you will provide to the government? Sean, what's your suggestion?
Well, within the context of CPPA, you asked a moment ago, what's the challenge? What are the major challenges? And CPPA, for me, has three. They've all been discussed. I won't go into detail, but one is the fact that we don't have a backstop right now, and that's a function of the auction mechanism. Two is the fact that outside of some small number of off-takers, there's a problem of credit rating, and Thomas talked about that in his presentation. For CIP, COP, and then the third one is sort of what we've also been discussing, which is cost. Is that the Taiwan's new construction, new offshore wind projects in Taiwan right now are the most expensive in the world, and you can do that if you're offset by the highest revenue in the world, but we're not yet, because we're having to negotiate with CPPA off-takers with whom we're competing with subsidized electricity. So what they're paying for brown power is here, what we need for CPPA is here. And that difference has to do with the fact that our capex in Taiwan is high, the highest in the world. So if there is a proposal for 3.2 broadly, it's to bring the costs down. Our local content regime, it pushes it up. There's many parts of the fact that we have this auction system, which really isn't an auction. It's bid zero and then compete on your optional local content. Pushes capex up. All of the other parts of the Taipower grid enhancement fees and different discussion points on reserve matter and how that might or might not resolve. All of this pushes costs up. So if you want CPPA to come down for off-takers and you want it to be available to more of them, we need to get capex down. And so my That should be the overriding principle. For 3.2, we've got, there's this tension in offshore wind development in Taiwan between building quickly, building cheaply, building with local content. And you kind of have to choose one. And so far through round 2 and round 3, the emphasis has been at local content at the expense of price and expense of speed. So we're very expensive, we're a little bit slow, and we have high local content. If we want lower costs delivered earlier, lower the local content.
Thank you, Sean. So Ethan, anything you'd like to provide?
Yeah, I think from my point of view, and the government, they definitely need to think about regarding to the financing side, right? So as we know that for the Taiwan dollar liquidity in Taiwan, I think definitely who own the most liquidity? Definitely the Taiwanese state-owned banks, right? And why we wonder that is since, when we went through so many years, but Taiwanese state-owned banks, they are not put, full 100% of their efforts into the offshore wind farm. So that I think Taiwanese government, then they need to give their support and through the financing channel, through the state-owned banks, not only to provide the liquidity to offshore wind farm, because the offshore wind farm is definitely need liquidity to construct, but also to put some systematically approach to support the CPPA's guarantee behind. I think that will be the most important things the government should do, and that is one of the strengths the Taiwanese state-owned banks, they can support for their local clients who has renewable procurement needs. I think Taiwanese government should push the Taiwanese state-owned banks from this angle.
Thank you, Ethan. So Dr. Peng.
I recommend all of the developer and also in this room, we should spend some time to educate the Taiwan public people what is CPPA. It's complicated, but sometimes very simple. But I should tell you, one time, maybe several months ago, I take the high-speed rail to South. I meet one leading opposite party parliament. He's very famous one. And he asked me, what I'm doing? I'm doing the offshore wind farm. The first thing he said, oh, cheat the country. Taiwan lose lots of money, blah, 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 blah. All against the offshore wind farm. This is the major risk you should face in next year election. It's just a kidding. Just I know because even in our Taiwan climate partnership, we spend lots of time to let everybody, our member, our most of companies that choose a suitable officer and their big boss understand what is CPPA, what is offshore wind farm. Even about 2 weeks ago, we take one of our big boss, Pegatron, T.H. Tong Zixian. We went to take the boat to see the Formosa 2. And finally, he said, oh, it's good. We should double the offshore wind farm develop and also triple. So that's what he see, what he saw. So he said something about that. But the media did not understand about that, only care about what he say, nuclear power is important. so I recommend you should educate the leader and also public people to know more detail and know it is the potential for Taiwan. It's good for Taiwan, not to waste our people. I think you should spend some time, maybe 10 of your times to do this. It's very important because right now the biggest barrier is political, and the second, all of the audience people, they don't understand the CPPA, and it's very complicated, too complicated for them to know. So that will be a barrier for you to develop. It's not our in this room or our government official or the energy company. For example, Taiwan Climate Partnership is well known about this. We want to buy, and we know there was some barrier. We are trying to do this. We all know this, but the others, no. The other claim, oh, you have lots of benefit from government. Oh, you are inside under the table to do something. So it's a kind of barrier. So how to educate the people, educate the media, educate everyone is very important for you.
Thank you, Dr. Peng. Xin-En, anything you'd like to add up?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with them and kind of benefits as the last one. But yeah, I would say we need to know the competition. I mainly follow what Sham just mentioned. If you want to bid, then the competition is bid. Then let's talk about bid, how much you want to take the risks and what's the capex you expect you will have. But if you want the local content commitment, okay, our competition should be, the game should focus on local content commitment. But you are combined, like we have bidding, we have local content commitment, and also we want you to sign a CPPA. Those things are kind of influence with each other. And you need to make two of them confirmed before you have the third one in the place. Or you need to confront one thing at least. And CPPAs should be the last things. If you look into how you develop a wind farm or develop a project, it's actually you need to confirm most of the things, and then you sign your PPA. Like it's a general practice. Like before you win your auction, then you have your PPA. So, but nowadays the government want all the developer to have certain things like MOU or things like you need to sign before the auction. Kind of protect your project with the CPPA. So this is really, I want to say ridiculous actually. So, but it's happened. So, these are the things they need to think about. There's orders, there's a sequence of things the developer can do. They need to confirm the first step, second step, and then go into the CPPA. So they still can expect the CPPA to happen, but this need to be built out on some of certainty. So the government need to make sure those things can be happened and they be rewarded as a proper project. Then that's heading to the CPPA. Yeah.
Thank you, Xin-En. Okay, luckily we still have 90 minutes to go. So anyone here would like to ask a question? No? Oh, okay, please.
Hello, I'm from CIP and I'm supporting CPPA. So I came here with a lot of questions and thank you for sharing. And most of my question was soft. So still, yeah, no, it's not soft, but it's a common question from all of us. Yes. So yes, the CPPA for offshore wind is new to the market, and it's new to us, new to the off-takers, and also new to Thai Power. And I'll say, sorry, I made some note here. So the complexity of the offshore wind industry make it even more difficult. And I think like the signing of CPPA is now in a deadlock because like every player is waiting for another player to take action first. So build on the Xin-En's comment that yes, there needs to be certain like a certain degree of certainty to make another movement from this on. So I want to ask the panelists that what in your view is the closest moving part that we can push to have the whole process to go forward. And also I have another question, is like, because we are lacking of the credit-worthy off-takers in Taiwan market, and the solution we now think of is the aggregated PPA and also stay-backed like ECA or other guarantee mechanism. However, I'm curious if we do all this, will this really attract international financier to investigate? Because due to the international shift, the market has been shifted to EU, to United States. So I'm wondering, do you have any insight on the capacity of the international financier? Yes. And also I really appreciate Dr. Peng pointing out the separation of REC and electricity. That will really help because a lot of our off-takers ask for that. And also I also would like to have Xin-En comment on, do you think Thai Power is ready for CPPA? Because it has a lot to do with if Thai Power is ready for this mechanism. Yes, and I think there's another issue that's, I would say, a hurdle of signing CPPA that we haven't touched. Today is the reserve margin. the reserve capacity. So does any of the panelists have a view on that? Thank you.
It's a lot of questions.
I kind of feel you are nervous when she mentioned that she solved all the questions.
Yeah, you said you had all the answers. So, well, what do you think?
You want to go first?
Sure. I heard three questions. I heard about international financiers, reserve margin, and then credit. So I'll take the question on. I'll leave others to solve reserve margin or talk about reserve margin. I guess around the credit topic, what we in round 2.2. Hai Long and Ørsted have signed CPPAs, and they have a backstop price. And the backstop price is based on the public auction prices, which was for Hai Long 2A is 2.2, and Hai Long 3 is 2.5, and Ørsted is 2.5, roughly. And so that presents we think about, well, what do international financiers need as a or what are they seeking? I mean, ultimately, when you're looking at an off-taker and you're saying they have a credit rating, they don't have a credit rating, what's the purpose of the credit rating? The credit rating is a valuation by a third-party agency that over the next 20 years, the risk of this company being in a position to continue to pay revenue is high. And as the credit rating falls, the risk of it falling increases. So high credit rating is low risk of default, low credit rating is higher risk of default. But ultimately, if you have a backstop to that first analysis is a little bit less important. The bigger problem for round 3 is that there's no backstop. If there was a backstop of some kind in the range that we've established from round 2.2, which is somewhere between NTD 2.2 to 2.5, then your lenders should be comfortable, because what you're trying to do is just say that if for some period of time over 20 years this off-taker or this combination of off-takers defaults and can't pay, you have another option for the period of time it takes you to replace them. So I'm obviously credit rating is important, but it's particularly important for round 3 because there's no backstop. That's the key thing. If there was a backstop at a price that lenders were comfortable, their debt could continue to be paid, then the credit rating, AAA, BBB, is less important. It's still important, but it's less important. So I think the solution there, the credit rating solution actually comes from the backstop solution. If you have a backstop option that provides banks and lenders with comfort that should your off-taker fall away, their debt can continue to be repaid for some period of 6 to 9 to 12 months until you find a replacement, they should be okay. And then the credit rating itself is less important. So I would emphasize the backstop as the solution to that.
I can follow on you. So I give more time. I can share a story actually, and give more time. You have more time to think about your answer. So 2 years ago or 3 years ago, so the government is making the policy for round 3, and actually there's a good friend of me. He was working for E3 at that time, and one day he called me online saying, "Could you give me some comment or advice what you thought about CPPA?" And the first answer I told him, "It's not ready. Nobody can do that now, and don't put that into round 3 policy because I know why you asking me this at this timing." And I said, "Okay, he got it." And about 1 week later, he called me again. He asking me, "Do you think there are how many off-taker potentially can take 500 megawatt wind farm?" I said, no, probably less than 5. And they say, "Really?" I said, "Yes, less than 5." And then he got silent and then come back. And a few days later, the government just announced what we sold. And that's really frustrating. I called him, like, "I told you no." I said, "Yes, but that's the government want." And the government kind of feel that they can do it because they are feeling good. They are so proud of Taiwan's position in APEC. We are the first rounder, we are front runner, we are really successful countries here to demonstrate we can do the offshore wind with really innovative way to support development. Some part of it is positive, right? But we do need to be ready. So follow the lady's question, are we ready or is the Thai power ready? My answer today is still no, because Thai power itself, is still under certain transforming process from the pure utility to kind of embrace the liberal market. And I can see they haven't done that yet, and I didn't find out any long-term strategy for Taipower in terms of their company transformation. Yes, they have the company transformation strategy and planning, but this plan didn't include CPPA, didn't include the renewables, the offshore winds, all the things happening at the same time. And you know Taipower is a monster. I don't want to criticise them because I know their burdens, I know their responsibility, but it's a monster. If they want to do something, they will eventually make it, but they do it really slow. And they need time, they need more advice, and they need more support, no matter it's support from the government or support from the developer or banker or all the consultant today. And so, think about one thing, they have sales department, I don't know the English, it's 业务处. So supposedly 业务处 should do the business, right? But 业务处 is not doing the business at this moment. And they have for CPPA, we need a wheeling contract with Taipower. And they have the transmission department, but the transmission department don't think this wheeling contract is kind of business for them. Actually, they can earn the money from it, but they don't think in this way, so they don't know how to build out their new business model with CPPA in Taiwan. So that's the main question. Unfortunately, Taipower didn't hire me as their consultant now, but actually, they should think about that, right? Anyway, but that's the thing. The government need more support, and the Taipower need more support. They need to understand the new business model. Yes, the government want to be top runner. The government want to be innovators, want to prove that we are so strong. Taiwan is so good. We are so great that we can demonstrate all the things here in Taiwan. But at the same time, all the stakeholders, all the companies belong to them that still need to embrace this innovation things. And in terms of another question about how to solve the current deadlock, I think probably Sean will agree with me, is like Taipower need to supporting have like certain rates. Like no matter you say it's avoided cost or average electricity sales rate, whatever, give a number, give a reference to the developer and lenders that one day if TSMC, nobody wanted this, if TSMC failed, and nobody wanted it, sorry, but if it failed, then Taipower is still there. And there is a reference rate we can take, and there is a guarantee for the return, and there's kind of liquidity behind that as well. Then the lender can feel safely, and let's just follow Sean saying those ratings, those credits will never be really important at that moment if we can set out this kind of rate. Of course, the government are super happy about like zero bidding. Yes, Taipower will pay zero for your electricity, especially it's renewable, but that nothing should come from free. You need to provide others to support everything to happen. And also you want the innovation to happen, so you need to have like reward or kind of support behind this innovation. That's probably answer part of your question.
Is that all the questions? Okay, Ethan, you want to take it up?
I think given that I'm the only one in the panel who worked for the banks before, so I think I can take the question regarding to the international financier, right? To answer this question, I think from two perspectives. The first one is regarding to the regulatory lending limit. I think that in the past weeks, I think there was some discussion in the market saying that is that offshore wind farm project size related to bankability from the lender's point of view. And I would say that in terms of their lending capability, in terms of regulation, they definitely have a sufficient limit to lend to the offshore wind farm. I think that's for sure. But the more complicated side is regarding to their strategy. International banks, they are from US, they are from Europe, and they're also from Asia, like Japanese bank, and also Singaporean banks. They are in Taiwan mostly. And they have their own different agendas. So this is all related to how they treat their resources to look at in different countries and how they look at the geopolitical risk currently. So for them, they have the sufficient and they have the appetite. However, they need to reallocate the resources sufficiently and efficiently. So that for Taiwan, I would say that for all of you as developers, now they are not only competing with each other. you guys are also competing with other countries, because given they are international lenders, they have different branches in different countries around Asia, right? So they can allocate their resources to Japan, to Korea, to Vietnam. So Taiwan, as you know, we are not a big market. So therefore, those international lenders, like other international business, they will allocate their resources, and we say that is their liquidity to the markets. They can earn most benefit, their profit, and they have the lower risk for them to evaluate. So I think, per my experience, per my discussion with those international lenders, I think they are still would like to, provide their support in Taiwan. However, along with what happened in, the round 3 and round 3.1 result, or what happened in the market, they are more conservative now because they have choice. They can choose to another market. So that definitely, international financiers, they are the biggest support for offshore wind farm. But I think for all the developers, I think we should be more cautious because they can move to another markets anytime, right?
Yeah, actually, I can say something. Although there were lots of the big stone there, so I recommend you still can do something, because right now the president of Thai Power is also the deputy minister of our economy affair. It's very strange, right? But that means that guy and President Tsai can dominate some energy policy right now. And even our minister Huang, and she is also very well known. I remember 2 weeks ago, we will take the boat to see the Formosa 2, and I talk what you mentioned. What you care about to her. And she say, we are trying to do, because there were lots of barrier. I think your voice, she had already know. So probably, by my experience, talking to the government is not easy, because the government is a monster. But how to educate a monster, you need the way, for example, to educate, to get them good to eat, and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's not easy. It's also very easy to do this, if you know how to do this. So you should do the right thing, use it in the right way. I think it's not easy, it's good. Because for example, the development of in Taiwan offshore wind farm, still the #1 in Asia, be honest. We're very fast. So we should have the hope, and we should confident to Taiwan progress, I recommend. And about the carbon, last month our President Tsai claimed we should have a carbon trading system. And later on, they set up a company in 1 month. Crazy. But later on, where is the carbon credit? No. So right now the carbon company only do the educate, to help you to monitor, measure the carbon. Interesting, right? Very lowest things. But that means in the future, probably we will have more potential, more focus about the carbon. So I think in the future, we should focus on the cooperation with the other country about the carbon credit, even the offshore wind farm. If we separate the electric and the carbon certification, it will be a good deal. So that's why we propose. It's an imagination, it's a dream, but I think right now we are in a transition period.
Thank you, Dr. Huang. Thank you, Ethan, Sean, and Xin-En. And thank you, the ladies in the stage, because you push forward our process. Thank you very much. So I think that the topic we're sharing about this, I'm very happy that we have the chance to share this, because previous time, everyone talking about offshore wind is focused on the technology, focused on installation. But right now, we are talking about the financial part and CPPA. So I'm really forward, and thank you, Dr. Peng. They bring in another issue that we can talk about next year in the future. So thank you all to having us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Wu and all our panelists. I'd like to invite all of you to come forward for a group photo, and you may just leave your microphone on the chair. All right, for our first photo, yes, please look forward into our camera in the front. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, for our second picture, please give us a thumb up. Thank you all once again for bringing us a lot of wonderful insights. Okay, do we have a good picture? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please give them a round of applause. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you. You may return to your seats. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the WFO Asia Pacific Summit 2023. I'd like to once again thank all the speakers in these 2 days, and thank you so much for attending and for your participation. We hope that you have all enjoyed the programs. We have prepared some refreshments at the corridor. Please feel free to network and interact. Don't forget your belongings before you leave. Thank you once again. Have a nice day.